number one injury to our men and women in uniform are meniscus tears. Now I'd like to talk about who wants to see some unclassified data, right? Let's talk about some imagery that we're getting from NASA. As Lou mentioned, I was proud to be a member of NASA's UAP independent study team. We had some very common sense recommendations, one of which that I testified here in the House not too long ago, alongside the great Lou Elizondo and others, was that we need to go into the NASA archives, get the imagery, review it, make it public, and look at what we've got. This is an example that hit the internet not too long ago. Is it a Tic Tac? It's on Mars? I don't know. I'm not qualified to say, but someone should be looking at it, and we should be collecting and collating the data. Here's one that's even more interesting to me. Lunar horizon glow. This is a phenomenon that we first saw with the surveyor systems. This is, as it's named, a glow that we're seeing on the horizon of the moon. We saw it with the robotic surveyors, and what you see in the upper left-hand side are sketches that Apollo astronauts made of this phenomenon. A glowing dome, streaks of light shooting out from the lunar surface, pretty extraordinary. And then, most recently, this was my cover slide, with the Blue Ghost system, which is NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program, CLPS, a wonderful public-private partnership to reach the moon. With Redwire Argus cameras, we took this image of the lunar horizon glow. What you might hear, if you go on a NASA website or talk to some in the scientific community, is that this effect is from dust that has been electrostatically charged and then levitated to create this impact. Now, again, I'm not saying one way or the other, but Dr., I should go back and give him credit, Dr. Manischewitz, I'm going to mess up his name, I apologize, it's in the slides, but a wonderful professor who's been associated with the UAP Disclosure Fund and doing work on this topic, provided me these slides. And I can tell you NASA's own research, LADI, other systems, is putting some big question marks as to even if there is enough dust to create this effect, which looks unlikely, and that if dust could be electrostatically charged to cause what looks like a second sunrise. And that's not the sun, by the way, it's below the horizon. That is an extraordinary image. And by the way, when I first saw this picture, I was like, is that algae on the moon? And what you're seeing is light refraction occurring due to, I don't know what. So I don't know what this is. Is it a dome? Is it some type of natural phenomenon that we don't understand or aren't aware of? But I'll tell you, definitely, it's a unidentified anomalous phenomenon, which bears looking and bears understanding. And this is a good example, too, of even if it's a natural or prosaic phenomenon, there's something extraordinary occurring here. We should be delving into it. We should be studying it and understanding it. And on the off chance that it does turn out to be something extraordinary, we need to know what is occurring here. Additionally, here's another shot, publicly available from the NASA archives. You've seen some imagery of the triangular UAPs in the past. What's that? Debris? Satellites?
That's from the moon, right?
That's Apollo 17.
We had that picture.
Images from Apollo 17.
A few of us saw something like that last Friday.
Yeah. Extraordinary. Satellites, debris, Klingons. What is it? I don't know. Who do you know? Congressman? You know what that is? Why are we not investigating this? And what I would ask of our brave members of Congress who are here is, again, with relatively little effort and money, we should be leveraging AI and ML to go into the NASA archives. So much of this has been digitized, more every day, and conduct a review of what's publicly available on UAP. We spend so much time here, and justifiably so, talking about classified material, what's being hidden. Yet there is a treasure trove of data that, if not a smoking gun, certainly is fascinating and worth looking at and applying the scientific method to. And these images that you're seeing here, and here's more, of another UAP from Apollo, more of potentially a Stonehenge, strange structures on the moon, lunar anomalies that look like Buddhist temples. And I'm not saying necessarily all of these have extraordinary explanations. Maybe some of them don't, maybe some of them do. But it certainly is worth the effort to investigate. And we're not doing that right now. Why? Because of the stigma, this pernicious stigma that prevents us from tackling it. And sir, that's where we're going to need your help. That I have many friends at NASA that are interested in this topic, fascinated by it, want to delve into it, but they need top cover. And that's why I'm so grateful to maybe offline talk more about what we can do. We have a new NASA administrator coming in, and this isn't going to cost a lot of money. You know, this could be done with very little time, very little effort, yet the results could be extraordinary. Finally, as we get back to technology, I just wanted to level set relative to what it takes to travel in space. 3 days to the moon, 7 to 10 months to Mars. I can tell you exposure to radiation during that trip, quite dangerous and challenging. 77,000 years to Proxima Centauri, our closest star. I mean, that's worse than my flights on United. I mean, that's rough. And then 1.7 million years to get to where we've seen some biosignatures for the first time. If we're truly going to explore space, we're going to need some innovative technology. And here we already spent some time discussing the Alcubierre warp drive. This was a Mexican physicist who did the initial work proving that within demonstrated science, and I would defer to Eric Davis here, but this is not extraordinary science, that a warp drive could exist. The challenge with Alcubierre's warp drive is that it would require roughly the mass of Jupiter converted into energy to operate. I mean, I had a Chevy Suburban, and that was not fuel efficient. This would be even more difficult. But a scientist at NASA, what was then NASA's EagleWorks, tweaked basically the architecture of the Alcubierre warp drive, and perhaps found some ways to get that down to more the mass of a VW, you know, something that we could work with. So these are the kinds of technologies that if there is a gravitic system or some kind of extraordinary technology, we must have it in order to traverse those distances and have America and our international partners lead in space exploration. Additionally, energy. I mean, if we are sitting on extraordinary technology, zero-point energy, the Casimir effect, as we discussed, think of the good we could do in terms of saving the environment, improving the economy, creating a post-scarcity society. It would be extraordinary, it would be wonderful. And let me just end by saying the reverse of that is we do not want to fall behind China relative to leveraging extraordinary technology. I don't know if there's alien tech out there. There may be, there might not be, but can we risk falling behind the Chinese in reverse engineering if there is such technology? And this is again where the stigma is so pernicious. That I'm sure China has its top officials working on this 24/7, coordinated, whereas us, it's separated, it's compartmentalized, it's MIT working on it, it's Caltech working on it. No. We cannot risk losing communist China because we can't take this issue seriously. We must not let a lack of vision turn into a lack of freedom. Thank you.